So media people has very important role to inform what happened. So I appreciate your work, your job. Now, meantime, you should be very objective, unbiased. Then now regarding this visit, firstly, my commitment promoting human value, that's human compassion. Recent years, during some sort of discussion with some scientists now they say, oh, basic human nature is more compassionate. And then plenty of reasons. So that is really a hopeful sign, basis of our hope. If basic human nature is anger, then no hope. Since our basic nature is more positive, compassion, therefore we can use our brain to further strengthening, that the human nature. Unfortunately, existing modern education is very much oriented about material value. So existing education not much pay attention about our inner peace or inner value. We, with friend of some scientist, some educationist, mainly from America and Europe, and now some Indians also, is fully committed. Kasa, Bombay Kasa, Tata. Tata Institution on Kasa, social some research. Now they also, fully committed to produce curriculum about strictly secular ethics, which can fit in secular education field. So now, end of this month, we're going to have some serious discussions. So, such as thing, I fully committed for promotion of basic human value, that is compassion, irrespective whether believer or non-believer, whether believe this or that. So, members also human being. So, I share, this is my belief. There's opportunity, people, as you witness, I think very, very, they loves me. So, some of my suggestion may help them, number one. Number two, as a Buddhist, now first, my commitment, I carry that as I consider myself one of the 7 billion human beings. So we are a social animal. So each of us have the responsibility to help humanity to bring inner peace. Through inner peace, world peace. Killing each other, unthinkable. Tiger or elephant kill one human being, then it become news, little shocking. Now, human being killing another human being, now almost normal. The number also hundreds like that. So everyone have the responsibility. How to reduce this, and eventually, finally, how to eliminate this kind of thinking, killing another human being. Even using different faith, my religion, their religion. That's, I think, very, very sad. So, my second commitment is promotion of religious harmony. It is very possible. Look, this country, India, over 1,000 years, all major religious tradition, lived together. So I think 3,000 years, 2,600 years, Jainism, Buddhism developed. So, beside homegrown different religious tradition, they eventually, I think around 2,000 years, I think, less than 2,000 years, I think, some Zoroastrian come, then Judaism come, Christian come, Muslim come, Islam. So, live together. Occasionally some problem here and there, but basically this country, India, is truly example of religious harmony. So since this most populated democratic country, quite complicated, isn't it? A lot of drawbacks here and there. Inside these sort of complicated things, the religious harmony is, I think, truly example of the whole world. So, since this big country, you see, last several centuries, we see the religious harmony in there. So, why not in the rest of the world? I think religious harmony can promote. So, this is my second commitment. So here, mainly Buddhist people, and some other sort of the follow of some other tradition also, but basically, sort of very harmonious like that. And then, third commitment, I'm Tibetan. As far as Tibetan political responsibility is concerned, since 2001, we already achieved elected political leadership. Then my position is a semi-retired position. Then 2011, I totally retired. Now, no longer any political responsibility. All political matter handled by elected political leadership. So, my commitment regarding Tibet is preservation of Tibetan ecology. One Chinese ecologist wrote one article which I saw, a few years ago. That article, said he observed global warming effect to global warming from Tibetan plateau is as much as South Pole and North Pole. So he described Tibetan plateau is third pole. So one Chinese ecologist now realized Tibetan plateau is so important. And then, obviously, all major rivers like Yangtze River go to China, and then Mekong River into China, this area, Mekong River, and then Brahmaputra, now here, and then Ganga, and Pakistan the Khasa. Indus River, go to Pakistan. So almost all the big Asian countries, China, Bangladesh, and some other sort of smaller countries, and India and Pakistan. So these rivers, I think 1 billion human beings' life depend on this river. So we need special care about the environment. A few years ago, I met one Tibetan from quite near from Lhasa. Usually, in his valley, there are many wild animals. Then, some sort of people, I think government, constructed one factory. After that, many wild animals die. So I think water pollution or something. So therefore, they special take care about the environment of Tibet. Actually, when one of former Prime Minister Chin, at that 1 year, a lot of flood in China proper. So after that, he gives some instruction. Those area, thick forest, which is the source of this river, the area these river come. So he instructed should not carry deforestation in this area, like that. So therefore, the one commitment is the protection of Tibetan environment. From time to time, I sort of express that. Then another, also my commitment regarding Tibet, sort of Tibet is Tibetan culture, and including Tibetan language. I often use it telling, according to my own experience. Now, best language among the existing sort of language, Tibetan language is the best to explain ancient Nalanda thought, philosophy, logic, and the psychology of these, or mind of the science of mind, all these Tibetan language, because you see, every word Sanskrit translated into Tibetan. So over 1,000 years, we utilize certain these words and through debate or to use logical approach. So therefore, I think Tibetan knowledge about these ancient Nalanda thought, I think best knowledge. And Tibetan language also is the best language to explain these things. So therefore, preservation of Tibetan Buddhist knowledge and including Tibetan language is not only concern for 6 million Tibetan people, but also is a concern for, I think, the whole Buddhist world, and particularly the millions of Chinese Buddhists. Now, today, China, I think 4 years ago, one Peking University carries survey how many Buddhists in China. Then around 300 millions. And then one significant sort of wording is, they mentioned, you see, many of these Buddhists are educated people. So then in recent years, you see, many Chinese Buddhists, they say now the Buddhist population, number of Buddhist population around 400 millions, like that. So the Tibetan, also the knowledge about Buddha Dharma is, I think, immense sort of help to those Chinese Buddhists. Already many Chinese Buddhists, they say they really showing interest about Tibetan Buddha Dharma. They find Tibetan Buddhist tradition is because of the pure lineage of Nalanda tradition, like that. So that's my commitment. Now coming here, firstly, as I mentioned earlier, promotion of human value and promotion of religious harmony, and also I ask the people, I express to the people, it is worthwhile to learn or read Tibetan. So they all, they follower of Kanjur and Tenjur. So the language, Kanjur and Tenjur, about 300 volumes, that's the Tibetan language. No matter what you call Tibetan language or Bhutia language or any word, doesn't matter. But actually, the letter Kanjur and Tenjur, that is something very important to keep. Keeping is not these volumes put in altar. Like this is a Kanjur. That is not a proper way for preserve. Study, reading, like that. So I asked them, and then logically, people who showing some interest, then that's the place to explain. People not showing interest, then no way, no use to explain. So whole Himalayan range from Ladakh up to here, people, really loves me. So there is greater chance, they may listen seriously about my view. So I come here. Then another thing, is emotionally, the 1959, end of March, the 10th of March uprising happened. Then the 17th March, was late the evening, right? Or 10 o'clock, last time, I left Nobulinga because few days since 10th of March, things become very difficult. And then that problem start 1956 from eastern part of Tibet. Then 57 northeast Tibet part, my own birthplace area. Thousands of Tibetans killed. A lot of suffering. And therefore, you see, 10th of March, the public sorority, uprising, you see, happened. Then next 1 week, I try my best to cool down the situation. But then neither side not willing. The Chinese side is each night more military movement and bring more soldier, more artillery like that. And Tibetan side also. I actually asked those Tibetans who supposed protecting me in Nobulinga, I asked them, few as your representative can remain, but otherwise those people should not go. Now should go, should not remain here. But they won't listen. Then finally I escaped. Then with great danger of my own life. Then when approached to Indian border, say still we do not know whether Indian government allowed me or not. So I sent two officials. One official towards Indian side, one official towards Bhutan side. Then my official who went to Indian side, then they send a message to me, or Indian side ready, receive me. Then we straightly come Indian side. Then eventually reach this place, Tawang. So at that time, the escape and reach India. And India, I always describe the land of Buddha, and the Indians, historically, you Indian. Now you Indian. So you Indian, historically, our Guru. We are Chela. So we not only just Chela, but quite reliable Chela. While 1,000 years, all these Nalanda masters' knowledge, in Guru's land, no longer much there. We, as a Chela, over 1,000 years, we kept all this knowledge through rigorous study, at least 20, 30 years study. Among the Japanese Buddhists, not that kind of rigorous study, chanting like that. And Chinese also, same. So I think only Tibetan tradition, because of the master of Shanta Rakshita, he himself great philosopher and a great debater, logician. So, naturally, such teacher used to want his student should come that way. So we, over 1,000 years, we study rigorously. Myself, when I carry study, I very much reluctant for study. I was very, very lazy student. But even then, 13 years rigorous study. And after that, come to India, 1959, final examination. Then soon reach India. Then I re-study all those books which I study. Now, even today, now 82 years old, still I read, study like that. So therefore, our relation is something very special. Relation between Guru and Chela. And then, in a way, maybe unfortunate, now Guru become almost like Chela. We Chela become Guru. So now I come here as a Guru to those local people as my Chela. So and then emotionally, you see, 59, I come through this area, so I feel quite sort of still fresh memory. So I want once more, although a few times I have been here. Now this time also, you see, I want to meet these people. Then at Guwahati, one old retired Assam Rifle soldier, his age 78 or something. Now, I very much moved like that. So that's all. And my very nature of my visit in different countries, since I retired political responsibility, everywhere, only spiritual matter. But my friend, China, is always politicized that nature. So this time also, I think the Chinese a lot of accusations, right? Criticism towards the Indian government and towards me. But these are normal way, so no problem. So now some questions.
So, yeah, I am Praveen from Times of India. Whenever you are in Tawang, how do you feel to be so close to the closest to your homeland? And do you ever believe that you will be able to return to your homeland in your lifetime?
Of course, I think more than almost I think 99% Tibetan inside Tibet are very, very keen. Whenever I met them, their only request is, please come to Tibet, come to Tibet. And many old people waiting me. And as well as many Chinese Buddhists, they also, you see, they express that way. Please don't forget the millions of Chinese Buddhists. Then I always is mentioning, as soon as some green light come from Chinese government, I'm ready, go there. And then, So at present circumstances, is the Chinese government is very much sort of negative towards some of these hardline officials. I think the whole world knows I'm not seeking independence of Tibet, but Chinese still is a repeated splittist like that.
Holiness, my name's Rani Singh, and I'm writing a book and making a film about your journey with my uncle, Harmandir Singh, who was the political officer who met you at the Indian border and brought you down to safety in India. Here we are in Tawang, and we're following your journey. I wanted to ask you, can you tell me any special memory you have of Tawang that you haven't told me before, of your time here when you met Harmandir?
I spent a few days, firstly, I think, on the road, you see, I think a few days. And then at town, then one guest house, you see, I spent, I think, a few more. And then, mainly in Bomdila. Of course, firstly, then already I become guest of Indian government. But immediately, you see, taking care, Harmandir Singh and his wife. I remember his wife and all my food, everything, you see, taking care. by that couple, and Harmandir Singh, wonderful. Then as I already mentioned, there's a young boy, then I think maybe around 10 years old, small, with members chuba, and he running here and there. So Harmandir Singh, now I think last last 1 or 2 years, I don't know. Before that I met one occasion in Delhi. And then their young boy now become Kasa, adult, and also now become Kasa, bold head. He carries some work supporting some students. Street children. Wonderful job. So I admire.
I'm
His
Rahul
Holiness,
from
His
Hindustan.
Holiness, there have been mass talk about your reincarnation. You have reincarnated for 14 times. There have been mass talk about your reincarnation. Where would you like to reincarnate for the 15th time?
Who and where is the next Dalai Lama coming from? If I had
Nobody knows. My own rebirth, my every sort of days, my prayer is, as long as space remain, as long as sentient beings suffering remain, I will be there and to serve as much as I can. So, no particular place. And sometimes I myself used to doubt whether I'm same sort of spirit of 13th Dalai Lama or not. I doubt. You see, according to our sort of concept, you see, the one great Lama, you see, can choose one of his disciples, or you should come, you should take my place. Or sometimes the Lama say, or you should go that place. So in that respect, after my death, or the second Dalai Lama, or third Dalai Lama, second Dalai Lama passed away, his sort of subtle body visited some heavenly place and they received instruction. Then Guru Brahma Sambhava. Then Guru Brahma Sambhava instructed he should go again to Tibet. And his birthplace, Tulung, he mentioned like that. So 13th Dalai Lama, I think no such history. So I also have no particular destination, so I'm free.
According to China, some reports are there that they say that the 15th Dalai Lama will be from China.
Oh,
According to China.
that's they say. That's they say. You see, the Dalai Lama's reincarnation, not only Dalai Lama, but some higher Lamas reincarnation, Chinese government should sort of finalize. That's, I think, frankly speaking, quite a nonsense. I usually see telling them, in the past, some Chinese emperor, sometimes there's some involvement about some higher Tibetan reincarnated Lama. At that time, the Chinese emperor themselves, the disciple of certain Tibetan Lama. So logically, the disciple have certain sort of interest or certain responsibility regarding the reincarnation of their own guru, like that. So I say, half joke, half true. In order to Chinese government, you see, taking sort of what's the responsibility about reincarnation, in general, particularly me, the first Chinese communists should accept theory of rebirth. Then second, Chinese government should recognize Chairman Mao Zedong's reincarnation as well as Deng Xiaoping's reincarnation. Then there is some logical, showing concern about Dalai Lama's reincarnation. Otherwise, you see, no logical, illogical.
Sir,
Can I
I'm
just-
Rahul from Hindustan
Can I
Times.
talk?
Your Holiness.
Yes, Japanese, my friend.
Thank you. Japan television. Your theory of education of children. Now, Mozart was born without being taught how to compose. Now, your Tibetan children in Manjushri orphanage, 3 years old, they know what a compassion is. They're living with compassion. And then I feel that this is the way that the whole world can be saved. It's not just Buddhist teaching, but it's actually human.
True.
Each one of them have a seed becoming a true
Absolutely
when
right.
they are born. But somehow in whole world, education is very much towards wrong way, and then money education. And then here is so important that I see every children, maybe they are reincarnated by somebody, I don't know, but they know since 3 years old. And then I feel like, how are you going to change this to the world? You can choose to teach this kind of teaching into the world.
Oh, I think whole generations, you see, from childhood, we have that kind of sort of habit, or don't kill insect, don't kill animal. So that kind of sort of habit, whether the parent knows Buddha Dharma or not, some kind of habit or culture habit. So that makes differences. I have one story. One Tibetan who eventually settled in America. I know him. So once he told me he's working in cleaning vegetable at some big hotel. So while he cleans, washing vegetable, every worm he take and put one pot. Then after finishing his work, carry in a vegetable garden or some other sort of grassland, release them. So some of his sort of co-worker, at the beginning, they showing some kind of, because wondering, right? Then asked why, and he mentioned, our tradition, every insect should not harm. Then eventually the co-worker, others also, do same way when they're washing the vegetable, whenever they find some insect and put something. So human habit, one person have that kind of sort of also the habit or thinking, then more people, and with reason, so then more people follow. So I think this whole society, I think that is the way. I think the compassionate attitude, firstly, as I already mentioned, the scientists say basic human nature is more compassionate mind, physical, more healthier. So usually we describing, in order to build healthy body, healthy mind, very important. Healthy mind means peaceful mind, like that. So without touching any religious belief, simply use common sense and common experience. We all received maximum affection from our mother. Those individuals who are lacking mother's affection, such as unwanted child, I think their whole life, in deep inside, some kind of sense of insecurity there, like that. Yeah, one lady there.
Your Holiness, Moni Deepa from NDTV, and I live in Kolkata. I'm going to go back to the reincarnation question because I've been speaking to people in Tawang, and the locals here deeply desire that when the time comes, you reincarnate in Tawang. And there are many experts saying that you may have actually been called to Tawang for that in your current visit. Would you please?
Well, that's difficult to say. some people from Ladakh, they ask me, they want my reincarnation should be in Ladakh. Some Chinese, they want my reincarnation should be Chinese. In even some European countries, some people or reincarnation should come their countries. So just one soul? No. So how can divide?
If I may ask a follow-up, sir. If I may ask a follow-up, please. Sir,
So this I already mentioned. You see, I think at the time of my death, then maybe some indication come. Otherwise, this moment, you see, no indication. So I think the few years ago, in I think Newark, I met some media people. Some asked me, raise this question. Then I take out my glass and look at his face. Do you think my reincarnation is quite urgent or not? Then he said, no urgent, no urgent. So I want to repeat that. After 15, 20 years, then this question then come. This moment, no such questions. No relevant.
that there may be a woman Dalai Lama, and you've said two more things which are of great interest. That there may be a woman Dalai Lama,
That's possible.
and that you may be the last Dalai Lama. Could you please explain why the last Dalai Lama?
As early as 69, one of my official statement, formal statement, 10th of March formal statement, I stated whether this very institution of Dalai Lama should continue or not up to Tibetan people. So if people, concerned people, feel now this institution now no longer relevant, then this institution automatically cease. But judging at present sort of situation, and many Mongolian also you see really showing their deep devotion, Dalai Lama. And of course, besides the Tibetan refugee, you see I think thousands local people from Arunachal to Kasa, Ladakh, is very, very sort of devoted. So therefore, now I think this year I may start, you see, the work for Kasoda, for next some kind of meeting. Actually, few years ago, occasionally top leaders of Tibetan Buddhist tradition, from time to time will come and discuss. And then last occasion, we discuss about Dalai Lama institution. And then we decided when my age reached around late 80s and the 90s, then we will going to have another meeting. Then some important sort of the point can decide. Meantime, I think this year, I think I want to start some sort of the preliminary discussion, including Mongolian, like that. One lady first. I think two lady, old lady, young lady, almost same nose.
I take it as a privilege.
Yes.
So my name is Manogya Loiwal from Aaj Tak and India Today Television. My question has two parts. The first, what is your take of the kind of again and again threatening that has been coming at diplomatic levels from China on your visit to Tawang? That has happened and that has been clearly sent across a message across the world. And part two, the Indian government has been questioned for its secularity and the secularism that it is maintaining in the country. What is your take on it?
Karsa, Tangut. Did it? Now this, I think, in Kasa Kasing Sajti, Asam, Guwahati, I wish one Chinese official should accompany with me while I am visiting here. And why what I'm saying. They should know the reality. I always emphasize whenever when you say I met some Chinese, including some Chinese media, I always saying 1.3 billion Chinese people, or 1.3 billion or 4 billion Chinese people have every right to know the reality. So far, many Chinese, when I met in Australia, in America, Japan, some frankly told me, when they actually sort of seeing me, something different when they heard Dalai Lama. One occasion, one Chinese student told me, when he was in China, he got the impression Dalai Lama old, very narrow-minded. And after he listened my public talk in America, and he felt, Dalai Lama not like that. Then you see, he decided come to see me privately, like that, private meeting, like that. So the people, I think, wrong information, like that. So therefore, 1.3 or 4 billion Chinese people have every right to know the reality. Once they know the reality, the Chinese people also have the ability to judge what is right, what is wrong. So they censor one-sided information, wrong information, is morally wrong, actually fooling their own people. I think transparency is very important. Now that part, in the free countries, have, you see, media people always say complete freedom, like that. And then another thing, I always see emphasis when I met Chinese, the judiciary system of China should sort of promote up to international judiciary system. Survey. Promote survey. Raised up to the international standard of judiciary. Because, you see, the last several years, I often met, you see, a number of Chinese. Some Chinese businessmen, some retired Chinese officials, civilian as well as military, some intellectuals, many students, many Buddhists. So, see, some occasion I met some Chinese patient. Very poor. Their face also very poor. Their dress also very poor. Then I asked, condition, their own valley, their own kind of village. Then they say, very difficult. The local officials, their only interest is money. So their position, their power, used for money, not taking care, not pay attention about a local farmer. So the Chinese judicial system, I think, should be more independent, and ordinary people can appeal. So most of these officials are party member, like that. Yes. Second part, Karisa. Secularism, as I mentioned earlier, I think 1,000-year-old, I think a 3,000-year-old secular concept in this country. One time I met Advani, former Deputy Prime Minister, my great friend. Also I respect, one sort of little bit confidential. He loves chocolate. So occasionally I send chocolate. So he, you see, once, you see, I discuss some spirituality. Now he told me, India's sort of understanding about a secular means not only respect all religion, but also respect a non-believer. He explained quite a detail. So that is wonderful. That kind of sort of thinking, respect, including non-believer, And then today's world, I think that kind of thinking is very relevant because today, out of 7 billion human beings, around 1 billion non-believer. And among the sort of believer, also some strange believer also there. These are clearly lack of moral principle, like that. Yes.
So on the subject of the
Sunil
next
Kataria from
Dalai
Reuters.
Lama.
Rahul from Hindustan Times.
Sunil Kataria from Reuters Television, and my question is just taking on from, the Chinese Foreign Ministry has said your visit to Tawang is going to undermine relations with India. What is your take on that?
We have to wait to see. Wait and see.
Sir, Rahul,
Why, sir?
so how does Narendra Modi's China policy differ from that of the Congress?
I think Modi, I think foreign policy is concerned, I think more or less same. When Narasimha Rao, Narasimha Rao, you see, once as a foreign secretary, foreign minister, I have some discussion, you see, and certain sort of the thinking or policy. So I think the same as far as sort of ministries stand is same. And Modi, I sort of admire. He quite active. When I have, of course, when he was chief minister in Gujarat, you see, he invited me one sort of Buddhist conference or something. I had sort of some discussion. He came to my hotel. So I have very good impression. Then he became prime minister, and he's sort of quite active. Modi, I think in the newspaper, you see, I think showing one wing, Modi flying here and there. I think quite good, quite good. And then he always used to emphasis, I think the farmers' sort of interest, farmers' development. That's very good. I always telling Indian friends, the development should concentrate in the countryside, not sort of concentrate on big cities. That's, I think, the city itself. For example, the Bangalore city, when I first came, 1956, very clean, less population. Now, Bangalore also become a similar sort of city, like Calcutta, quite dirty, like that. So therefore, India's development, I think, should concentrate on rural area. Recently, I also, you see, mentioned to Chief Minister of Bihar. He also is thinking that. So then, the facility which available in city, these facility should also make available in rural area. Then, I think even sort of the conjunction motor traffic, what is it? That also, you see, then it can be less in big city. Like Tokyo, you see, bridge, 1, 2, 3, 4. Even I think the present sort of, because of the situation, even I think 100 bridge, still I think may not be sufficient. Because you see, the economy improving. So each family, I think one car, then eventually 2 car, like that. So, the village, countryside, still open. So the facility, usually, you see, rural because of people come to city because certain better facility. Now these facility must make available in their own land.
So on the subject of the next Dalai Lama. On the subject of the next Dalai Lama.
Then one only mentioned female Dalai Lama. Yes, that's, I think, 15 years ago, in Paris, one female magazine, magazine. So one, I think most probably, editor, one lady, some discussions. Then she asked me, in future, any possibility of female Dalai Lama? Then I mentioned, oh yes, why not? Firstly, among Tibetan high reincarnated Lama, some female, over 700 years, they are very high, like Samdi Dwajaphamu. So, in Tibetan tradition, female high Lama, kasur, it's normal.
So what would be your advice to the next Dalai Lama?
So then, when half joke, I also mentioned, if female Dalai Lama come, that female must be very attractive. Then later, I repeated that some BBC interview. So some Indian lady complained that. What is the reason? I think.
Have to be beautiful. Why does the female Dalai Lama have to be beautiful?
Then I think a simple question: why you are making your face? Why? So and one sort of prayer, in Buddhist sort of as a prayer, also so sound phenomenal.
So there are prayers for a good future.
Also mentioned, and actually, you see, practice of tolerance, forgiveness is one important cause of sort of attractive sort of physical or face. So there's no question, no problem. But most probably, one lady, Indian lady, who complained that I think her own face may not be nice.
Your Holiness, you are a frequent traveler to the US. You are a frequent traveler to the US on lectures and discourses. Do you support?
And also including medical checkup.
So, do you support the immigration policy adopted by anti-immigration policy adopted by President? Because there are lots.
Basically, I believe with admiration, America as a leading nation of free world. So, the new thinking, only America. First, America, right? American first. I feel a little bit sort of the disagreement. As a leading nation of free world, America should act with that spirit. As American relation with European Union, these things very important. Of course, it is people's choice. Great Britain, through referendum, now they choose as they leave from European Union. I feel uncomfortable. European Union, that spirit, I think, best guarantee no longer war with member state. And then economically, much better. Because of the union economy, much better. I admire German. You see, they are Deutschland, the Deutschmark, very strong, but they are willing to sacrifice Deutschmark and euro. And Italian lira, not much value, so I think euro is better. So therefore, I always telling people, the spirit of European Union should start in Africa, African Union. Then I think many civil war reduce, many starvation, lot of money spent for weapon, not sort of economy or farming on these things. So therefore, and Latin America, I think, should achieve union of Latin America. And Africa also some kind of union. That's my dreaming. Then eventually, different union, again, you see, join bigger union, so that whole world can be one human family. The different national interest, you see, should come. If the genuine, so the common interest of the humanity reach high, then each nation automatically get maximum benefit. The humanity, more suffering, more more violence. Very difficult. So, as a,
Are you voting for an India, China, and Pakistan coming together for an Asian Union?
long run, yes. China, most populated nation, ancient nation, generally speaking, cultured people, and hardworking. Sometimes in Dharamsala, some Indian, my friend, I mentioned, as far as hard work is concerned, Chinese are more hardworking than Indian. At that time, so my friend, Dharamsala, Indian, little bit sort of disagree or something. Then afterwards, Asian game, Delhi, Asian game, you see the construction not properly sort of Commonwealth, yes, Commonwealth game. The old arrangement not sort of properly sort of done. So later, I tease him, look, the example of the laziness or carelessness, like that. So in any way, I always consider China, Chinese people, and we should make distinction, Chinese government or Chinese people. Then India also, people, ultimately people. I think the real sort of ruler of the world is world humanity. And each country ultimately belongs to the people, not the government. Government come to go, like that. People always remain. So therefore, I think people of India, I think people of China, hardworking, cultured people. I think 5,000-year-old cultural heritage. Very good. And I know many Chinese. When I visited China, 1954 and 55, wonderful people. But then the system, totalitarian system, closed society, that I think great damage regarding Chinese cultural heritage. As far as Chinese cultural heritage is concerned, Taiwan kept better than mainland China. I heard through my friend, some Chinese visitor to Taiwan, when they reached Taiwan, oh, here, no fear, completely, free, peace. So some of them express they want to remain in Taiwan. Like that. So therefore, now the Chinese people, I think, wonderful people, cultured people. Then the government system, totalitarian. But even that, during Mao's era, and then Deng Xiaoping era, then Jiang Zemin era, then Deng Xiaoping era, Wu Jintao era, not much sort of because of the change. Then Xi Jinping era. These four eras, there are change. Same country, same party, same ideology, but there is change. One obvious thing, Deng Xiaoping era. He even, I think, sacrificed the strict sort of principle of socialism. He decided to follow market-oriented sort of system. So I think I can mention now the former president of Israel, one Nobel laureate, now no longer, she passed away. Shimon Peres. His English pronunciation, a little bit difficult. But a really knowledgeable person, wonderful person. Wonderful person. He is socialist. So in early period, when Nobel laureate meeting, some Nobel laureate, you see, when raised criticism about China, about Tibet, then he usually is in defending China because he very close feeling with socialist country. Then after a few years, I met another occasion in, I think, Jordan. At lunch, he next to me. Then I asked him whether China is a socialist country or not. He immediately said, no longer Chinese, no longer socialist country. So now, if they follow strictly according to the principle of Marxism, equal distribution, I really admire Marxist economy, equal distribution, and top priority, right or benefit of work for working class people. Therefore, as far as socio-economic theory is concerned, I am Marxist. Truly. But I totally against Leninism. Leninism developed during Civil War, and Western nations also is a more negative attitude. I think that's one kind of causes the Lenin no longer following genuine Marxism, more nationalism and totalitarian. That wartime, you see, closed society, heavy censorship, the news. This wartime, yes, okay, and ruthless. So that wartime mentality become part of Soviet Union system. That's quite unfortunate. So therefore, I totally against Leninism, like that. So therefore, I think I really hoping, and also telling my Chinese friend, now China need another cultural revolution movement under the leadership of Communist Party. Now, previous cultural revolution motivated much hatred, anger. Now, this cultural revolution should be compassionate cultural revolution. That goes very close with Chinese cultural heritage and also goes very, very close with Buddhism. So you see, China, even same sort of party, but in reality, from time to time, you see some changing there. Jiang Zemin represents three representatives. The wealthy people or intellectual people now should, because of the Communist Party should represent because of the wealthy people and cultural people, like that. So things are changing. So many Tibetans, when they visit China, they are surprised. Oh, here, much more freedom. The ordinary Chinese driver complain their leader. In the restaurant, they openly sort of discuss or criticize, like that. So in most time, impossible. So things are changing. The basic human nature and truth always remain there. Artificial sort of political system or political ideology or something, from time to time change. Okay.
Your Holiness, the condition of the Tibetans in Arunachal is really bad, and the condition of the Tibetans in Arunachal is really bad, and there's some amount of hostility as well from the local people, and then there is no employment opportunity for them, which I visited the 4 camps, and I found out that there are cases of alcoholism and also cases of drug addiction. What do you think should be done for the betterment of these Tibetans who are in Arunachal?
I think our concerned department in Dharamsala, I think should come here and study detail on the spot. Then we can approach Chief Minister here. Very, very wonderful Chief Minister. So I'm quite sure if we have sort of the fact and sort of the clear sort of the information, we can discuss. Okay.
Your Holiness.
Sir, I have something.
Your Holiness, I am Tamal Shah from Times Now. Even I am from Kolkata. You have, very kindly answered all the questions. I just want to ask you something. You're saying you have retired from every political activity emanating from Tibet. Does it also essentially mean that Tibet should forget and forgive China? Have you been able to forgive China?
Forgiveness. Of course. Of course. I think almost similar situation and Pol Pot in Cambodia. Almost sort of situation. Few 100,000 Tibetan killed. Lot of damage. About 6,000 monasteries, temples destroyed. But it's no use to keep revenge. Better live as a human family. And after all, China, Tibet, I think over 1,000 years, we have very close relations. Okay. Then middle way of approach. Remain People's Republic of China. Not separate, not independence. So that mutual benefit. The China, there's one China policy. Okay, we remain within People's Republic of China. But for economy, we will get immense benefit. Like that. So, provided we should have the right to preserve our own culture, our own language, these things. So, after all, as you mentioned, eventually, even China, India, also, you see, can be one union. And Japan, and Pakistan, Afghanistan. Okay. I think that we should have this kind of sort of vision, not just to see the present sort of condition. And nationalism, built nationalism, that's not good.
Your Holiness, is there a possibility of re-establishing any contact with China, with your emissaries or your...
I think only question of time. That's the practical way. The problem about Tibet is still there. Therefore, Dalai Lama becomes something very sensitive. If there is no problem, then Dalai Lama will not be sensitive. Like that. So, whether Chinese government admit or not, there is problem. The proper way to solve that problem was almost 60 years since 1956, 57, 58. You see, use force and brainwash and give money. I think 2 years ago, I met one Taiwanese businessman who I think remained in Shanghai or something. He told me, he came to see me and told me he visited Tibet. The new constructions or new roads, aerodromes, these, much development. And he met some Tibetan. They also, you see, say, we have now more material development. But then he says, how about these Tibetan, in spite of this development, inside, something missing, very unhappy. When he explained that, he also crying, tear, like that. That's fact. So therefore, for common interest, you have to solve this problem. There's a possibility to solve this problem. So therefore, I think since 4 years, since Solveda, I think 4 years, around 4 years ago, we noticed 1,000 article, about 1,000 article in Chinese language wrote by Chinese, some from outside, overseas Chinese, some within Chinese. So all these 1,000, about 1,000 articles all support about our middle wave approach and very critical about their own government policy. So that's view of Chinese people in neutral object who look these things objectively. So therefore, there is a problem. Have to solve. The way of solve is more realistic, not just by force or distorted information. Thank you. Now I think end.
Your trick of staying healthy and that glowing skin.
Huh?
Before you leave us for the day, your trick of staying healthy and for taking care of yourself. Your trick of staying healthy.
Healthy trick
And the glowing skin.
Hmm.
If I may seek forgiveness for asking this.
Oh. Oh. Due to my karma. That's quite vague. But actually, quite often, you see, my long-time friend, you see, when we met, they say, "Oh, my face, not much change." Now, then they ask me, "What is the secret?" Then I usually is telling, "Oh, that's my secret. I don't share." But actually, I explain. Main factor is peace of mind. Although my whole life, difficult life, and seeing world also quite sort of, I'll say, the complicated world, lot of sort of suffering. When I saw picture the children who facing starvation, a tear come, nothing can be done. So, a lot of sort of because of the things which really feel worry. But basic mental level is ease, peace. Because I'm student of Nalanda tradition. Patitta samupanda, interdependency. One negative factor, not independent, but due to many other factors. Unless we deal holistic way, these you cannot solve. Then 8th century, one Nalanda master stated, or Shantadeva stated, when we face some tragic situation, you should analyze. If the tragic situation can overcome, then no use worry. If the tragic situation, no way to overcome, then no use worry. Very practical. That's the Indian Guru's advice. Huh? Oh, so Chela, now follow that. You Guru now forget these things. You too busy to westernize. So this is one thing, I think main thing. It's a peace of mind. Now my doctors also, you see, agree because of peace of mind. My health, good. Blood pressure, no blood pressure. Sugar, I think sometimes in India, too much fruit, too much sweet. So sugar rate little bit sort of growing. Otherwise, no problem. Then another thing, daily life, 9 hours sleep. Night about 6 or 6:30 sleep. Then next 3 or 3:30 wake up. Then for 5 hours meditation. Meditation mainly analytical meditation. Not, I may say, you see, simple meditation. Close your eye. That is simple meditation. That I think spoil our intelligence. Vipassana, analytical meditation. That analytical meditation is really helpful, you see, to understand the reality and the patitta samupanda, everything interdependent. That brings holistic view. Because anger, worry need some independent sort of target. So when we develop holistic view, then no independent target. Like Chinese atrocity, these, not independent. You see, many factors involved. Mainly our own previous generation's mistake, negligence, like that. So then, no sort of solid basis of our anger. No. I learned your ancestors, Mahaguru. Thank you.